So the latest episode of Dragon Ball Daima was absolutely insane. There was a lot of really cool things that happened in this episode. Number one, the first thing that I noticed that I really wanted to talk about was this interaction between Majin Buu and Goku, as well as the effect that Goku seems to be having on Glorio as a character. So first off, if you've been watching my previous videos, you know I've been talking about for a while how Goku is going to affect the demon realm, how he is essentially introducing them to the concept of ki, and how the concept of ki is what separates the hierarchy or the realm of the gods from the demon realm. The entire reason that the god hierarchy are gods is due to their access to ki, and ki is also something that is accessed as a form of spiritual evolution. That overall narrative of Goku encouraging those around him to be more like him and therefore cultivate their ki is something that we've seen countless times throughout the series. We saw him do that with the entire multiverse in Dragon Ball Super in the Tournament of Power, and that effect seems to be carrying over here into Dragon Ball Daima. So Majin Buu has essentially been accidentally figuring out how to use his powers. We saw him figure out how to use ki blasts against Tamagami 1, and in this episode, he sees Goku powering up his ki, and he copies him, and as a result, he attains this wacky Super Saiyan-like transformation, which I thought was very, very interesting. Now, in terms of Glorio, Glorio also powers up using ki for the first time ever, and it's established way early on in the series that he had no idea what ki was either, and that ki serves to power his magical abilities, and that kind of feeds into the relationship between ki and magic that I have discussed on my channel multiple times. Chi fuels magic, and magic has the capability to fuel chi. Now, speaking of that, Goku attains a new version of essentially what is Super Saiyan 4 in this episode of Dragon Ball Daima. Now, this version of Super Saiyan 4 is a forced mutation through essentially using magic to play on his biology to force a mutation. So what happens is we see the magic power interacting with Goku's body. It causes his heart to activate, and as I've talked about in previous videos, when a Saiyan's heart beats, especially in response to battle, their body mutates. As a result, the heart, whenever it's beating rapidly and a Saiyan is experiencing adrenaline, not only do they get stronger through ki, but it also sends a biological signal to their body to cause them to mutate in order to survive whatever situation they're in. That's what the initial original Super Saiyan transformation was. Now, for those who say that Goku did not earn this transformation, Goku did earn this transformation in the sense, very similar to Orange Piccolo, that he got the approval of a higher entity, essentially the approval of the Namekian people, since Neva and Shenron both represent the overall standards that the Namekian people are held to, essentially expecting them to be proud, selfless warriors. Since Goku, like he did back in the original Dragon Ball whenever he was talking to Kami, since Goku met that standard, that's the reason that Neva was okay with gifting him this power. Now, we can actually see when Neva gifts Goku this power, you can actually visually see what's happening. Neva is essentially creating an entirely new body for Goku in the sense that, like I said, he is forcing a mutation on him that is awakening his more ancient primal gray ape like traits. Now, why specifically does Neva's power-up awaken this aspect of a Saiyan's nature over all of these other potential awakening spells that we've seen in the past? Well, there's a few reasons for that. Number one, it's the fact that it plays on the heart beating. I don't know if you remember, but in Dragon Ball Super, whenever Goku's heart starts beating in battle when he uses True Ultra Instinct, he starts behaving more like a great ape. Also, when Broly, or any character who is in Super Saiyan, essentially gives in to the effect that Super Saiyan is having on their personality due to the fact that anger is causing their heart to beat rapidly, they essentially become more demonic, primal, and ape-like. Something, of course, very similar happens with Broly when he's in his Akari state, and another really interesting and close example to what's happened here between Neva and Goku is Gohan Beast, because Gohan Beast also had his potential unlocked and his personality changed by a shock to his emotions, but he controls it as a result of Piccolo's teachings. But unlike with Gohan Beast, who had to rely on the awakenings that he has as a result of seeing the people that he cares about in danger, Neva actually forced an awakening and a mutation in Goku by essentially using magic to force the normal mechanisms in which the Saiyans use to mutate to react without the normal stimuli that the Saiyans rely on for this effect, which is essentially a near-death experience or their heart rapidly beating in battle. Neva essentially forced this effect onto Goku, and as a result, he forced him to mutate into this great ape-like transformation. And the reason it has those traits, the traits of a great ape, is because anytime a Saiyan's heart starts beating in battle rapidly in response to danger, it awakens their inner great ape, so to speak. And the great ape transformation has always been the go-to survival mechanism for the Saiyans in the past. So essentially what's happening here is Neva is activating Goku's survival instincts through magic. And the oldest example of the Saiyans going through some kind of effect that transforms them or mutates them that is associated with their heart beating rapidly is the great ape form itself. When Goku used to transform into a great ape, they would always either play heartbeat sound effects in the anime, or you could see the heartbeat sound effects in the manga. And that's because the heart is the source of our emotional stimuli. It's the source of our anger or any emotion that we feel that causes us to essentially act out of character and do what we need to in response to our emotions or in response to a survival situation. It essentially brings out our inner demonic nature. Now, interestingly enough, it is also the source of ki. Our heart is the source of our life energy. So when we experience these huge shocks to our emotions, it causes a boost in power or a boost in ki through the adrenaline we experience in a state of fight or flight. So not only did Glorio use ki to fuel his magic, but Neva used magic to not only trigger a mutation in Goku, but also fuel his ki. Now, the fact that Neva has the ability to actually forcefully mutate the Saiyans has huge implications in terms of a possible connection between the Glend, the Namekians, and the Saiyans, but that's a topic for an entirely different video. I want to do an entirely different video on that. This is going to be mainly my review on the episode. And so the last thing that I wanted to cover is essentially Glorio's wish. At the very end of the episode, Glorio is put in a spot where he can either wish for Rinsu to be the new Supreme Demon King with the most magical power, which this dragon probably would be capable of, seeing as how he flicked Goma away like he was a bug. And the title of the next episode is called Betrayal. Now, what I really like about Glorio is he's kind of like a mixture of like Android 17 in the sense that he's obviously being influenced by Goku, and he's also given the opportunity to use the Dragon Balls selflessly to essentially mark the effect that Goku has had on him. That is very, very 17-like. But he also reminds me a lot of Mirrors, because despite the fact that he is a Majin, very similar to how Mirrors was an angel, he has a strong sense of justice, and they kind of parallel each other in that sense, and I actually think that makes Glorio like a really cool character. But this wish that Glorio is being forced to make has huge implications for the future of the Demon Realm, and also the effect that Goku has on the Demon Realm. Because if Goku's effect on Glorio actually takes hold, Glorio could use this wish to perpetuate the Demon Realm to new heights, very similar to how 17 perpetuated the multiverse to new heights in the Tournament of Power through his wish. If he essentially lets Goku's effect take hold, he will have a huge positive impact on the Demon Realm. But if he does decide to side with Rinsu, he would essentially be helping her achieve her ends of creating a more terrifying and powerful Demon Realm that she hopes to use to dethrone and essentially make the mortal realm bow to eventually in the future. But anyway, I really enjoyed this episode. I really hope you enjoyed my review. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I got a new video coming up next week discussing this new transformation a bit more. But anyway, I appreciate you guys so much. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.